Hi to everyone from my side as well. I'm Valto Loikkanen, co-founder here at Digiole, and I'll run you through today's material, and hopefully we'll set you up also towards being able to start playing with your own talking products or AI twins, or even both, after the session, with also more comprehensive understanding of where the world is currently, and maybe a little bit of more view into the future also of where we're heading. So let me share my presentation here to get started, and we'll go from there. So first and foremost, I would like to let me minimize this a little bit. Yes. So first and foremost, I'll encourage everyone to scan that QR code with your mobile directly. Basically, this will give you access to my personal AI twin, and you can, even during the session, you can ask questions on related topics that you may come across. But of course, we very much encourage doing questions live here as well. But most importantly, this is also for after the session. So my knowledge with broader collection also from my team members are very much aggregated to be available for free from my personal AI twin as well. And as you will learn more about the AI twins as well, you will learn that it's an ever-evolving thing. It's not one and done type of thing. So nothing in the world is ready. So that will also continue to accumulate, and I'll continue to add knowledge as I learn myself to be shared with my AI twin. All right. So you can also just type that domain to find it. But basically, this will give you access through the QR code or through the direct URL as well. So first, I want to kind of give us a brief kind of foundation from where we are from the perspective of the markets. And I want to kind of associate this with the ChatGPT moment that the world had about 2.5 years ago, because that is kind of a starting point when we can say that this new AI really emerged. The generative large language model based AIs really entered the mainstream and became a kind of known and understood initially by many, and then growing from there. So basically, if we think on the first part, that is where this new AI time started, and it started in a form of using the application very similarly as we would use any other application, except this chat based. But that's very much the kind of the beginning of this year 2025 is very much been about AI agents, AI assistants in different shapes and sizes and forms and use. In the whole landscape, the whole terminology is very much still in flux and forming. So don't get worried if you don't always follow up the terminology and what is Copilot compared to AI agent compared to something else, because it's even those definitions are still being kind of formalized, specifically when we think in a global sense. And then the product names in the mix also get can confuse kind of what is, let's say, a type of terminology for a type, and what is terminology for a specific product. From this individual AI agents, we will then continue to move forward to this agentic AI terminology. And the difference between this is that the AI agent is a kind of individual AI giving to a specific purpose and task, and this agentic AI is more of an ecosystem or a network of AI agents collaborating together. And the easiest way to kind of picture that in your minds is like think of organization chart of a company, and think of that now putting AI agents in different positions to communicate with each other and also with humans. So it is an organization or a network, or then in a broader sense, you think an open community, or even a city of different things collaborating together. So that's more a question of a scale. So also it is important to think this transition through the lens of two different sizes that of course also connect, but think of the service side. This is companies, organizations, public sector organizations, non-profits, whatever the entities that have like internal operations as well. And then they have the service side offerings or services or products for the markets. And then the customer side is very much the open market. But of course, this can also be in context of B2B, but it's easiest to consider in the context of B2C. So think of as consumer markets connecting with services offered, products and services available to consumers. But of course, it can also be even equally like HR department internally with the employees in the organizations being the customers. But it's important to kind of just get the sense of this interaction through this service meets customer or customer meets service lens. And in our activities at Digiola, we very much focus on on this dual side aspect, and much less interesting for us is productivity inside the organizations, because there's plenty of offering there for all kinds of solutions, but much less is made available and created in a general purpose level for adapting to interacting with customers or customers interacting with services and so forth. So if we take back the previous image, we can then think this transition anyway happening on both sides of this kind of interface, and also of course internal productivity, but we'll focus mostly on this where let's say the rubber meets the road, where business becomes revenue, and interactions happen across different parties, whether those are between organizations or between individuals and services and so forth. So on both sides, this transition is now happening, that we are moving away from applications to these AI agents, and then towards the agentic networks, where then it also means that these agentic networks have these customer side, service side interfaces also within that broader network, similarly as we humans have. So easiest is always to use human analogy with the AI agents, and not overthink that are they humans, will they replace humans and so forth. For the practical sense, they do the same things that humans do. How well they do in any given point of time depends how well they are designed, depends on how capable they are, their current state of maturity and so forth, but they are accelerating fast and getting better regardless of what any of us do in that context. The easiest analogy here for the capabilities of AI is whatever you are experiencing, whatever AI tools you may be using or testing, or agents or applications, these are the worst they will ever be. They will always just be better tomorrow and better next year and years to come. So whatever you are experiencing, they will never be poorer than this in their capabilities. So when we look on the personal side as us as individuals, which is a helpful way to kind of dive into this world, because regardless of our roles in work or study or organization chart, are we on top or in strategy side? Are we in operational side? Are we in coding or whatever? If we take our work as one part, that's less than, I think I did a calculation at some point how what part of the work is in our entire life and so forth. It's not definitely not 1/3 because we don't work since we're born and so forth. But anyway, the key to really understand that equally as email, since it emerged, we all still have email addresses, and without email addresses, it would be impossible for us to communicate in this digital world. Same for the phone number. Whenever since we have got our personal phone numbers, we have had that as part of identity ever since, regardless of what has happened, how technologies has emerged and evolved and so forth. Same will apply to personal AI. So on AI, whenever you will get your own to start with, it will be part of your individual life, and equally in work life, and entities will have their own AIs in the future, and they will keep evolving and getting better. So that is important image to think that these personal phones, emails have started in the 90s. Now we are living 2025, and they are more important than ever for any kind of communication. Personal AIs and AIs generally owned and controlled by those who operate them will be equally important from here forward. And similarly, like it took for, find the use with your email, it took some time, find use with your mobile phones, and people said, well, we don't need mobile phones, landlines are just fine. I don't need email, fax will work just fine. Today, people are saying, well, I don't need AI. I want to write everything authentically with my own keyboard, typing the thumbs and so forth. But nevertheless, the point is that the ways we use email or phones today is quite far from how we used them initially. And same will be with these AIs in the future. When something is as inevitable, I think there's no one who can put back the AI back to its toothpaste back to its tube, or genies out of the bottle, if you will. There's no one who can put it back there. It's no one's interest currently, not governments, not companies, not individuals. Everyone has shown that we want this, and there's a global competition at unprecedented levels. So this is inevitable that it will happen. No one will know exactly how everything will evolve. There's significant risks involved, but that's like humans has gone through these things before. Like there was risks to discover new worlds, there has been risks to discover space, and so forth. So this is just happening in this dimension now. But it's inevitable, and therefore, the sooner you will start with baby steps and accelerate towards not only using ChatGPT, but for the agentic AI world in different ways, and use AI natively built new technologies and tools, you will be increasing your competitive advantage going forward. So let's unpack what happens actually behind the user interface, and how do we go from AI applications to these AI agents. So initially, when we think the beginning of ChatGPT, basically there was just direct communication with the large language model, that basically having chat interface to communicate with this large language model itself. And then gradually more things have been added behind the user interface to add the capabilities. There has been additional memory added, so beyond the context, short conversational memory, like our humans' short-term memory versus long-term memory. That longer-term memory is just traditional databases, data storage structures that is then connected with the LLM. And the short-term memory is the only part that actually lives as part of the let's say, the context window that goes into the large language model conversation. Equally, there's more and more tools being connected. So the most notable is that you can ask to do real-time search, and then there's a tool that the LLM connects to, does the search, and then processes that information. And equally, creating images or even coding software and so forth. And then also these, specifically with this model context protocol, these interfaces are being standardized, how these different LLMs can connect with different applications. So if we remove the user from the picture and from there forward, basically then we can realize that now this combined by themselves actually forms an AI agent. So it's basically the same thing as what is behind our chat interface, but in this context, when we think of that as independent, now we can consider that, of course, this AI agent doesn't need the interface to operate and do all of those things by itself. It only needs to get inputs and provide outputs, and it can then handle all of those different things. And therefore, when we connect these agents in a chain with traditional software or just between themselves or between humans, for example, agent to communicate with humans via WhatsApp or email, it doesn't need an application interface for those inputs and outputs, and therefore they can communicate and do things in a digital world like majority of humans already do. We send emails and response to emails, we send WhatsApp messages and so forth. So there's no difference for including AI agents into that kind of networked setup. So this agentic AI is then in different sizes. Think of like a team of AI agents together with humans and agents together. Think of it organization level, think of it supply chain level, think of it ecosystem level, think of it city level, national level, global level. There is no boundaries for the size of this. And it's developing from all directions at the moment at accelerating pace in different organizations, approaching it different ways, but everyone has the same picture of what the ultimate outcome looks like, those who are building these technologies and creating these. Just for context here, from my personal experience, I have been building as an architect software applications for more than 2 decades. I have been developing ecosystem architectures and infrastructures for more than 10 years, I think, in more than 30 different cities around the world, in all continents of the world. And then before this AI wave, we did a significant 6-month research report for the government of Finland about platform economy, which included international research aspect on that side to get a sense of platforms and ecosystems. And now when we can connect the AI into this architectural thinking, it is very easy for us to understand how these worlds actually connect and operate compared to those who have not been, for example, involved with ecosystemic level architectures in their own developments, but basically focused on individual applications or just ecosystems around single application. So it's again starting from the personal side, because personal side is relatable for any of us. We are all individuals first, and we have majority of our other life in addition to work. So when we look from that lens, it's easier to also look how as us individuals, as customers, connect with companies and services and operations. It's usually harder to think from the service side, how should we provide to customers? But when we all just step into the customer's role or individual's role, it's much easier for us to always recognize what services are good, what's are not, how would you improve that service, how would you like it to work. But for whatever reason, it's globally known that it's harder to think that same way when you are positioning yourself as a service provider. So when we look from our individual's perspective, this is how it will look. We will have multiple AI agents as part of our lives that we can use and connect to. And these agents are going to be built and provided by different actors, including other individuals, organizations of all kinds, and so forth. And even some cases developed by yourself. In this setup, it's important to identify that you don't want to have the same future as we have had with applications, where we basically have hundreds of different applications that hold our data and we need to have credentials to log into and so forth. We don't want to have 100 employees or 100 agents in our disposal directly. That's why humans always build organizations, that you want to have more effective way to go across multiple hundreds agents. And that organizational approach is very simple. We usually want to have a primary agent or primary function that we connect through to these other places. And in personal context, you can think of that as your personal assistant or management assistant, or if you are CEO, that's your COO for the most parts, that connects to the organization and helps to run everything. Same will be true in this agentic world. You will want to have your primary AI agent for yourself that knows you intimately, deeply, and has all your information that you want to provide to it, instead of providing all of your information to every agent in the world, as we have been doing wrongly currently in our current world in the applications online. On the service side, it's very much different. So in that sense, that in the service side, we can have our own AI twins in the work role, but in addition, we can have these made-up personalities as AI agents that can represent a product or a service or entire entity, or whichever we want that agent or each of the agents to represent. And typically, like anything in the organization setting, there can be more people behind a single agent than an individual themselves. In the case of AI twin, it's pretty much like your personal email address, your personal mobile phone. It's you and the thing. In the organization, it's the thing and then the team, maybe team that maintains that, and other ways to think of that. But this new agentic interface will emerge when we have our personal AI agents communicating with the service side agents, and because they are software at the heart, they can do that silently without disturbing us with notifications and other things. And they can work based on our given mandate, and they can look after our best interests, whether it's that from company side or individual side. So that's why it's important that everyone has their own that looks after their best interest and not the best interest of someone else. If you would think this like, let's bring an analogy here, that if this would be a court case, maybe a divorce or a fight with your competitor in the court, you wouldn't want to have one lawyer in between trying to represent both sides. So that is maybe the most helpful picture to understand why we need our own representatives in the world of agentic AI. So when we are then connecting from our personal side with multiple services, this is naturally how it will start to evolve. And all of those interactions can happen, like we could say our agents that, hey, go figure out what is the best dishwasher for me to buy. This is my budget and these are the things and values that I care about. Go search information, and the agent goes and have interactions with other agents, collects that information, reports back to the user at the most convenient time when the person is actually acceptable and wants to continue that dialogue. So that's just an example of of what that could look like. Equally, this could be an entrepreneur in the startup ecosystem looking for best advice, the most fitting investors in their network to find whose fund is actively investing and what type of companies are they investing and so forth. And then on the service side, it's similar picture, but the other way around, where we have services that are capable of automatically interact with any number of individuals on the other side to communicate with them. And in here even could be making introductions across different people who would like to meet other people, acting as a facilitator that, hey, you're looking for X and you're looking for Y, you have both indicated that, so let me connect you to here, and making introductions to both. As a simple example, but obviously we can take any use case and put through, because anything that works in the human world is possible, is going to be possible with the agentic models. So it's not really thinking of new applications, it's just taking a use case currently operated by humans and then making that more effective and automated with agents. So then this is how the networks and ecosystems emerge and will scale up from different cities, from countries, from organizations in business verticals, and so forth. And just it will naturally evolve to these types of networks. And what we have already learned, all of us, with the AIs, they talk any language natively, regardless of what language us, the humans, talk. They can bridge across any languages, and that also means any software programming languages. So they can talk React, Java, Python, Finnish, Swedish, Spanish, and they don't really, it doesn't matter what the language is. And this by itself is just significantly meaningful in so many levels that we have yet to unpack. Our human brains, myself included, have not even collectively yet understand all of this meaning. But I can give you an example. In the world of search engine optimization and digital online world, we kind of think that it's global by nature, that it's all global and everything is connected. But that's actually not true at all. It's still very much the digital world is divided by different languages. So if you go to Google and search in Finnish, you get Finnish results about Finnish companies. If you Google in Spanish, you will get the Spanish world. Majority of us use secondary language, English, to communicate, and then we get, let's say, maybe the most global representation of the world. But when I search in English, I don't get Spanish results or Japanese results or so forth. So those markets are very much protected in their current languages. All of those will disappear. So as an example, an AI agent in the future asked to shop something that is made in China, is the person shopping in Finnish language. The agent reads the best Finnish reviews and ratings from those who have optimized their sites to provide information of that product, and then could buy that product from China or Poland or Estonia, and all can be happening seamlessly in Finnish language. So the point is that the world has not yet felt the global competition of e-commerce online when the language barriers go away. But that's very much coming as part of this, because languages in the sense of agents don't mean anything specific to them. It's to the individual's own decision to say, I want to specifically buy this from my home country provider, if that's what they want. But in the realistic world, we already know that majority of purchase decisions are not driven by those same values that otherwise we would consider perhaps being meaningful. So what does this then mean for us individuals, companies, organizations that are not OpenAIs, that are not Meta, that is not Google, that is not Apple, that is not Amazon? What can we do? What do we need to pay our attention to? The world is moving so fast and there's so much information coming our way. It feels that the only thing we're doing is studying and studying and studying this topic. There's certain safe havens here that are very important, and I want to bring focus to that topic, and that's the information itself. Think of it data, think of that as knowledge, think of that as content, but in general, just information. As old as the technology is, this term information and communication technology, the world tends to keep their focus on technology, the software part of it, the computers, the devices, but those are actually all secondary. The only reason these tools exist is to provide information and enable communication. That is the safe haven. Focus on information, focus on communication, and let the technology, use the best technology out there, but don't be fooled of them being the same thing. If you remove the information from this equation, everything else collapses. Nothing else matters. Those technologies do nothing. It's like a building that is empty. It's like a car without the gas. So don't get distracted by the technology and focus on the information, because that's the most important part. And that doesn't move as fast. And that is understandable to humans of all types at different levels, where technology, softwares, how LLM models are trained and so forth may not be. And there's no value in understanding all of those, specifically if it comes with the cost of not understanding the value of your own information. So these large language models, AI in general, does nothing without data. They don't exist, they cannot be created, they cannot be improved, and they serve no purpose without the information. So they are tightly connected in their capability to exist and perform based on information. So now we all know where that information has come and continues to come from when these large language models are trained. That's a different topic, because again, what can we do about that at global level? Regulators are fighting on that, copyright agents, lawyers, they're all already doing that. The big ones are fighting with the big ones on that. And whatever will be the outcomes, I don't think that really matters for the small people, companies, organizations, small countries, and so forth. So we need to focus on what we can do. So how these models work and how they should be understood. So these large language models are being trained, so-called base models are being trained with vast amounts of information. Think of it all publicly accessible global information, whether it's being copyrighted or whether it's public domain knowledge. All of those that are available have been consumed and already captured. It's not like they need to collect it over and over again. They already have collected that information, that base data levels that they are using to train, and then they keep collecting new information as it emerges. But anyway, these create the so-called base models. And you can think of these base models like information that the LLM AI has read the whole internet and now is responding from memory. It doesn't have the information per se, it only has the memory of the information it has consumed. And that's basically a large language model. You can then take these large language models that are also available as open source. You can get them freely from online, from GitHub, download for your own copy of the world's information in a large language model, and you can get it for free. So all of world's knowledge is free for everyone in the world to use and take. So for that base, we can then fine-tune these models with our own information. This can be organization information, business vertical information, country information, to make them more knowledgeable of the specifics of a certain thing that we want them to understand better, domain, culture, values, whatever that may be. And then the third piece is that where actually then you use such a large language model as an interface, and the most easiest to understand is when you ask ChatGPT to do an online search, it goes and gets the real-time information and then responds based on that information. Equally, this information can exist in the database or in the knowledge base or any kind of storage on your side. And that's the most helpful and most useful way for individuals, small companies, countries, services, organizations to use these large language models-based AIs, so-called knowledge-based AIs, because in those cases, you also are not training the LLM models of others. You are not even trying to train them. You are using them as an interface and a communication layer on top of your own information. And that also means that updating and removing information is possible, where, for example, in these large language models themselves, you cannot remove anything you put in there. You can just continue to add more and more, but you cannot take anything away from those models. So as such, they are not really good for many purposes. Obviously, training them is more expensive. Training them, operating them are more expensive in that kind of format. So with these open source LLMs, anyone can have their own free copy of all the world's open information, and even, unfortunately, including all copyrighted information that has been publicly available. So in this new world, when we don't focus on technology, your own information is the only competitive advantage that others don't have. And basically what that means is that if you take large language model, or if you take large language model that is fine-tuned, and then you add your own information to that through a connection, now you have something that nobody else in the world has. Everyone can have this global knowledge, but only you can have global knowledge plus your own knowledge. So your information is extremely valuable and important, and controlling your own information is very, very important. So when we talk about owning your own AI, it basically means that the only way that you can own your own AI is to own the information that makes your own AI what it is, what it becomes, how it acts, how it represents itself, how it behaves, what it knows, what it doesn't know. So the baseline is that it knows the world's information and you and your company, or whatever you want it to know. But that's what makes it yours and different from someone else's. Like Oscar's AI twin is different from my AI twin, because I have put my information to mine and Oscar has put his information to his. And of course, we also have shared knowledge that we have also in both. And then most importantly, it is that if you don't own your AI, then someone for sure is willing to own it for you. And you have no hard time guessing who those organizations in the world are who would very much like to own your AI and have you just a user of your personalized experience with AI that they own. So to put it as clearly as I can. So it doesn't mean that you have to lock down your information. It doesn't mean that you have to be, plug yourself from the online world. No, what it means is that you have to own it to be able to control it. Then when you own it and you can control it and you can limit access to it, you can define your terms, you can be as public and as open as you have always been and want to be. So I want to make it very clear, control and ownership doesn't mean that you have to start acting differently, but it is what you as an individual or as a company or as a organization or as a city or country can do to maintain your self-sovereignty in this future world. If you don't pay attention to information, your information will be someone else's information who is more effective of taking advantage and extracting value from that information than you are. So you don't have to own, you don't have even to control it. Doesn't mean that you have to keep it all locked in. You just need to control it. So with this, we come to this defining moment that, all right, we have two options. I can continue how the online world has evolved in past 15 years and keep putting all of my information to other people's and organizations' hand and hope for the best. Or I can take control in my own hands and start basically building my own AI, building my own information and knowledge repository so that I can control my AI regardless of what LLM models I'm using in the future. So this brings us to the knowledge-based AIs in the agentic world. In all simplicity, these knowledge-based AIs have three significant parts to them. One is the knowledge base, where you can have all of your own information, and your own information can be whatever that is. It can be your personal emails, your documents, your files, your personal data, your sleeping data, your habits, your grocery shopping, your bank transactions. It can be anything from your entity. It can be individual products or services, all details, and so forth. And you capsulate each of them separately. And then you have your personality. So you have your AI agent that you defined how you want it to behave, how you want to represent, what it can say to whom, and so forth and so forth. And then the third piece is when your AI is having interactions with the world, with other people, with other services, with other agents, you get insights of all of those interactions in an understandable way. You define the format, but the easiest is that you can just see the conversations happening, all the requests coming in, and all the responses given by the agent. So you can just read what is the assistant communicating. So in this model, think of the LLM as a holster where you can inject your own knowledge into it. And then when you put your own knowledge in there, the AI is also capable of generating kind of general understanding of your knowledge. Think of like a summary of your knowledge as an additional layer. Or like if you buy a book, you have the book, all the details in there, then you have the back cover that explains what the book is about. So that kind of knowledge becomes what is creating the base for what your AI agent is representing. Now we go into practical examples, and this is what we provide as example AIs as services from Digital side as software as a service offering to start building your knowledge base and then associate it with products or services. So we call this talking products as a product name, and basically you can simply put a QR code into any packaging that you have. So think of your product packaging or product information brochures as the media that you own, and this way you can open a gateway to the knowledge of information behind the product. In this world, basically, when we think specifically in the service side with the consumer side, customer side, the labels are very much underutilized, and basically they are very limited in information, and they are also regulated in what information is mandatory there. So consumers very much have a problem of access to product information in a convenient way. And then on the service side, for organizations, companies, there's no really visibility into what consumers are curious about the product in real time, and what goes into their purchase decision and so forth. So there's only kind of volume data, there's analytics and information that doesn't clearly define, for example, what exact questions or how customers are asking, what type of questions they are asking about the product, in which way. So the more let's say complex the product is, the more value there is in the information of or the types of things it can be connected with. but also basically it depends on what you want to put into the product and what you want your brand to represent and what additional value you want your products to communicate to your customers. And this is also entirely new way of thinking just beyond until the purchase moment of the product. So typically digital products benefit already or has benefit years and years from an ongoing relationship with the customer. So for example, applications that we use, we have constant connection and companies can improve the products. But with physical products, these experiences, what happens after the purchase hasn't been accessible. So think of like a washer or washing machine or dishwasher at home for 10 years or 5 years. Their AI agent of the dishwasher could be serving and helping the family out throughout the entire lifetime of the product. And that information can be seen in available, like very rich and valuable for improving the products that are being built, the physical products for next versions and so forth. So the customer understanding is available in a plain readable format that then can be further analyzed with sentiment analysis and all kinds of different things to build customer personas and whatnot, whatever traditional ways they are in connecting with the customers to improve. The most important thing is to capture the information and then use AI to help find insights and conclusions out of this information. QR codes help bridge these products. QR codes are becoming commonplace everywhere in the world for all kinds of different usage, and this is one of the very effective way to connect and one of the most valuable and competitive customer experience into any product or service. So simple thing, put the product packaging, let the customer scan and interact and collect the insights from that. And it can be equally put in physical places for art venues, sports stadiums, airports, restaurants, city blocks, museums, and so forth. So talking product is easy concept to apply to any kind of physical product or venue, specifically where those are most competitive to get the same benefits as the digital services have had for the past decade or so in online services format. So get the same benefits in products that don't have had such capabilities before. And now we move back to the personal AI side. And most importantly, think of the information on the personal side, which is extremely problematic in sense. And again, want to focus on the value of information. So today, our information is very much scattered all across the web in countless apps and services that are not in our control. And whatever we think the terms and conditions are today, most important for us is to think, what is the business model of the company providing this service? Is it aligned with my best interests? And then they have the right to change their business models and terms and conditions. At any given point, they can sell the company, and then the bigger companies' rules start to apply and so forth. So the personal information is disproportionately currently existing in such way that others keep more about our information and we get very little in return. We basically get fed with ads and that's pretty much all the other places that we consider getting services, emails and so forth are already harvested to capture our intentions and so forth. And that's why we have those ads following us regardless of where we go, because they try to provide these other services to get our intention so that they can provide ads and use that information. Of course, they also sell our information for political purposes and whatever that may be. But this is what we get in value is limited. So in the future, we want to help to convert this in such way that the more you start having ownership and control of your information, the more value you will be able to get, and you can gradually start to reduce how much of your information lives outside of your control. Our personal information is very, very rich and valuable. So think of all of our information from all aspects of our life, from our entire lifetime and beyond. So, and beyond, if you're Elvis, if you're still with us or not, that's an example of how our information can live after us for decades and decades. Also, our information start collecting before we even have conscience of ourselves. And basically throughout all aspects, so different roles that we play throughout our different lifetime. So on personal data ownership side, there's very positive developments in the data ownership regulations since 2018, initiated from the GDPR. The true meaning of GDPR is to give individuals the control of their data. With Digiole, we are collaborating with Prifina, that is the world's leader in the concept of personal data ownership and private by default architectures. So personal AI twins is a concept created by Prifina that Digiole is also one of the official representatives. And we provide these personal AI twins as one means for individuals to start their journey of personal information ownership, and also connected in an agentic AI way with products and services. So we can think of how these personal AIs can be helpful for different types of people in different types of life settings through a simple illustration like this. So the personal AI twin is your primary AI, a personal AI that you can interact with yourself privately, and you can have your AI twin represent yourself publicly to other people. So this is the simplified way of looking at the function and the role of an AI twin. Here's some AI twin users from the world. Here's one way of how these have been applied. So this is one of a global diplomats, retired, who has made a biography, and the whole book, it's written in Lithuanian, but the AI agent of the book, the AI twin of this person, you can communicate with any language, and it has the whole book content and more things that were cut out of the book available to have a conversation with. Here's then another book. This is a talking product version of a book where it's not about the biography, but this is more of a topic made into in a book format that you can also have a conversation with. This book is about emotions and the impact of the emotions in the world, when it's in politics, in business, in marketing, and so forth. Here's a lawyer having her own AI twin version of herself. Here's a TV host with the AI twin available for audience to take part in the conversation of the program's topics. Here's an example of putting that in a very ground level to ask Mike the plumber help if you have a need for a plumber, and then also used in education context by teachers and so forth. These have actually been proven in couple of times already and spreading in leading universities in the world, where teachers have their own AI twin versions to interact with. So last but not least, of course, the key is to give you access to build your very own AI twin or talking product for free, and start demoing that with yourself. So you can take the accounts that we give for you for free to try to build an artificial persona, a talking product, or you can use it to start building your own personal AI twin. If you need more than one, just let us know and we'll be happy to cater so that you can accelerate the learning from different purposes. Or if you have colleagues or friends who want to try, we are happy to cater for those as well. If you find them valuable, then we'll see how to continue from there. How this works is you simply upload your own knowledge, and with these tools, you also gain the control of your knowledge and you can keep the knowledge. And the idea is that in the future, you can also take that knowledge and power other AI agents beyond our own. Our model is to support you onto your information and build your information into AI, agentic AI world compatible, if you will. You can then create your AI twin, start using it, like I have mine available to interact. And then when seeing the interactions, basically you can, I can improve my knowledge to made available. All the conversations are anonymous by default. There's not even cookies collected from the users. You can use it with your mobile browser, with your desktop browser, and it's all available anonymously, unless the person interacting wants to identify themselves. Here's how it looks in the mobile. You can scan the code of a product or my AI twin there to have an interaction. This is how it looks now currently on the browser. We also have custom interfaces available for companies to make them look however they want those to be. The maintaining it is very simple. You add your profile image, some basic details. You get your QR code, you get your unique link that is hidden from search engines and so forth. So it's only accessible for those who you want to share your link to. You can put your QR code to your watch or business card for interacting. Like you can ask if you want to have a meeting with me, you can just scan my QR code and ask my AI twin, where can I book a meeting with Valto, and it'll share you the link. You can put knowledge in there in plain text format. So it's very same information that you are capable of reading and putting in there. That's the knowledge that becomes the core knowledge of your AI that you own. And then you can have these insights available by simply reading through these real-time messages coming through from how the AI twin is interacting, or your AI for product, and then you can have that come as an email report daily, as conveniently to see what is the AI twin having interactions. So there we go. That was it. I know it's a lot to take in, but we try to squeeze as much value that we can into 1 hour. And here's my AI twin QR code once more. If you haven't yet scanned the code, I recommend you to scan it and just have a conversation. Feel free to provide me with feedback. Through my AI twin, ask me anything about the work, about any other aspect, about my expertise, about my knowledge, whatever you may be interested in. And if the information is not yet available, my AI twin is still younger than I am. So I'm very much trying to help my AI twin catch up with my decades of knowledge, but it'll get there faster when I can see what people are interacting with. So thank you from my side, and we'll provide you your own AI twin links or talking product links, however you want to use them after the call or this webinar. And happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I know we are on time, but we have some time if you want to have a conversation.
Yeah, I think, yes, you're right, Valto. Thanks for the whole presentation, and definitely we have time for some Q&As for those that are interested in and taking the opportunity to ask now on real time. I think there was someone from the participants who raised the hand. You can directly talk if you want, use your mic, or you can drop the question here in the chat. So whatever you decide it works for us. If not, so then we can. Yes, go ahead, Fatima.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this very inspiring presentation. And to be honest, I'm still learning all of this, but what will make, let's say, what will be the competition among software companies in the future if technology is not the, let's say, the competitive advantage, but information? So I'm just wondering what will make, let's say, some companies shine over others, and what should people be focusing more on going forward with AI being infused in everything?
Yes, I think that like most important thing is that while of course we know the current state of the world. So for example, like Google doesn't actually own any information, right? But it's one of the most valuable companies in the world. It's just basically catering other people's information. So that shows the value of the information. Facebook basically owns no information, but they have harvested and licensed everyone's information. And they are using that to sell access to people. All of those, I'm not saying that they are like poured milk or they are like gone things. They very much are not. We can reverse things. It doesn't happen overnight, obviously. But the point is that people and the world, for the most parts, are interested in new information. That's why news are popular. That's why like the majority of what the internet is designed for new information, update information, and so forth. So it will start impacting more than what we would otherwise think the whole world information, because majority of attention is around new information. So the more people and organizations start controlling their own destiny, it happens through the information. There is no race of technology. Those technologies is not where the race is. There's a smoke and mirrors happening in the world to distract us from what is actually valuable. That's why nobody talks about these topics, is because it's better not to be talked. That's why everyone wants to bundle software and information as one and the same thing, software and data, but they are not the same thing. Software is just a tool for information, and that's basically the key thing. That doesn't mean that it's easy. That doesn't mean it happens overnight. But what is most important is for countries, cities, organizations, individuals, for everyone to understand what is it about. And with that understanding, it is possible to start gaining back control, ownership, and value to where it originates it and where it belongs to. Our focus has always been that the value should belong to the rightful owners. But in the past 15, 20 years, the internet got mixed up with how the logic should be, where the customer is the king.
Yeah, I would also like to add that, because as we said in the webinar, one important aspect is to own the data. So once you own the data, so that basically means that you are the proprietary of the information, the knowledge, the processes. So then you also get to know more clarity and understanding about your customers' conversations, and that makes you, I would say, very unique compared to potential competitors. So again, just try to emphasize that part, that once you control, it's not only the knowledge that you control, it's also the power that you get when you put that information, that content, that data into your customers' hands, and how all those interactions happening, it will contribute to refine your services, your processes, your activities, everything around your value proposition. And I think that's regardless of the technology that can be available at that time.
Yes, and as a concrete example to add to that is, for example, it's one thing is the knowledge that you have in your knowledge base or in your control, the knowledge that is yours, where you put it, and there is no other use for that knowledge than to be yours. So, for example, from ours or Prefina's side, the service promises that we help you to protect your information. It's like we are your personal lawyer in the court case example. So that's the only function to exist. And then you can set the terms how you want to make your information available or don't want to make it available. But the step forward from there is that those interactions that happen with your information are also yours by default. And now if you think like if you would go to build an agent on a platform like OpenAI, you create a GPT, they don't even let you see the interactions that your GPT is having. Even you created it, you add the knowledge to it or whatever you do, your knowledge is there and you can't even see the interactions. So you have no even access to learn, let alone to have a copy of that information. So the point is really that it's also all the learnings that come as interacting with your information is going to someone else and not to you. Google has operated this way from the beginning. They know all the search queries and all the responses to those, but how much of you have known about that? Google have provided Google Analytics to all the websites to give information that what happens. The owners can see it in their website, what happens with those websites, but people forget that Google also gets all that information. So it's just, and that's again, the word information here is the key. Like hold on to your information, start collecting your information to be able to control and start collecting the value that comes with interaction of your information. And if we do this collectively as individuals, as companies and organizations, cities, countries, and so forth, again, starting from the new information, there's no point of fighting the old information, it's already there. But similarly, as initially the information didn't exist in the internet, it was in the paper format, in the filing cabinets, we were sending it with the faxes, and then we put it in the PC, and then somehow magically in our PC connected to the internet, and suddenly everything behind the user interface went elsewhere. So we can reverse that, but we can't if we don't care about it. So we need to start caring first, and then we need to start doing it second. And we need to understand that that's where the value is. The software itself has zero value. GitHub is full of free open source software for anyone to use for whatever purpose. And all of that is useless without the information that it would connect to.
All right. Thanks. Thanks,
Thank you
Fatima,
very
for your
much.
question. Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks to you. Any more questions? If not, we can conclude here. And of course, you all are more than welcome to reach out to us over email or through the different channels that we have to basically to reply any of your questions. So yeah, thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and your engagement. We hope this session gave you a clear picture of how AI twins, talking products, and knowledge-based AI can move from abstract concepts to something more practical and personal, something that you can actually start using right away. As I mentioned in the chat and also here, we will be sending follow-up materials shortly, including setup instructions and links to explore more examples. And if you're interested in testing this for yourself, for personal use or your business, So basically, we will be happy to support you all. Just reach out, and basically we will help you to get started. But we think that the materials will be very clear on that. But anyway, feel free to reach out to us. So thanks again for being part of this conversation, and we hope to see you in our next session. Take care, and until next time, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.